All right, welcome back to another episode of the Morning Chat. I'm Gabby Dadato, and I'm here with Danielle Bonaparte, who was on the most recent season of Are You the One? Danielle, I loved you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited. It's been a minute. I've been talking about the show nonstop, so I'm excited. I'm ready.
Yeah, very exciting. So just to get into it, how did this opportunity come about? How did you hear about it, or how did you see it?
So when I was younger, I was really into MTV reality shows. I would
Yes.
sneak watch Tila Tequila, all those types of shows like that. I would kind of like go and delete it from the history, from the DVR and everything. And so I told myself if I was 25 and I was single, I would go on a dating show.
Yeah.
I'm 27 now, but I was 26 at the time. And my best friend was like, your favorite television show is kind of having casting calls. So immediately I applied, she applied, and they called me the next day. And it was over and done with from there. We just kept going with it. And then 4 months later, I was flying out to Spain.
Nice, nice. And do you still keep in contact with anyone from the show? Are you still close with anyone?
Yes, I have a lot of friends from the show. My
Oh,
best friend is Anissa for sure, hands down. We're flying to LA this weekend to see each other on Friday. So, and we just saw each other a month ago. So we're kind of inseparable at the moment. Unfortunately, some of my other casts are in other countries, so I can't see them as fast as a quick trip to, LA, but I have seen a couple of them in London, and I'm blessed to see some of them in Bali in in about a month.
oh,
Be
that's so fun. That is
yeah,
so fun. That's got to be one of the best parts about this season being international is getting to meet people from all over the place. Then you get to go and visit.
yeah. I never thought I would have gone to London at, ever. I mean, I wouldn't have known who to go with or who to be with, but to have people who live there, and also Ollie, who just like runs Pink Culture, which is all the entertainment in all of London, I'm like, yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah. And do you still talk with Hamudi at all?
Yes and no. Like we're just friends. Him and
Okay.
mine are in a beautiful relationship. Mine's just actually in New Zealand right now. And
Oh,
they're, seeing each other, and I totally, absolutely adore their relationship and just respect it at all costs. I mean, we are
oh.
good friends, and I'm just grateful that he is what the representation was of my perfect match.
Mm. And if you could go back and maybe pursue any of the connections on the show, would you, or are you happy with the friendship connections that you've made?
I would have pursued a couple of more relationship type connections. I got caught
Mm,
up on one boy
it happens.
who ended up just not, it did not play out well. So I got caught up there where I feel like could have had more opportunities, because even now leaving the show, talking to them even more outside, I'm like, wow, I wish I gave you a little bit more time, or decided to not put all my eggs in one basket. So
And did you feel like maybe some pressure because the cameras are on and maybe you're feeling like in a rush to figure everything out instead of taking your time to kind of, you know.
yeah, the rush was there. The rush was there, but the cameras, I didn't feel the pressure. If anything, they will, after a while, they weren't there. So they're there, but you can't see them. You're just so focused on what's going on around you and finding
Mm,
your perfect match. I mean, spoiler alert, we did black out in the very beginning. So losing money and making sure that we didn't have that happen again was really important. So it was very game planning. So I was ready to get on my hands and knees and get into the work of, are you my match? Are you not my match? Are you her match? Is she your match? So there's no fear anywhere. After, the fear was losing more money.
yeah. And I love the host of your show, Kamie. What was it like to work with her? She seems like perfect
She
for that
is
role.
perfect. She's perfect, period. Like, she's,
Yeah.
first of all, a goddess. She's perfectly set for the role for the host. She has, am I allowed to say a bad word? I mean, it's her podcast name. It's relationship. That's her podcast. And
Okay.
it's about relationships. And I think that was a perfect person that we would go to when the cameras turn off. We're like, Kamie, what should I do? Also,
Mm,
even though she was giving us relationship advice, the fashion advice. I mean, did you see the outfits? That's all I have to say. Her team, shout out to them. But overall, such an amazing, beautiful person. I'm grateful that she was our cast, and too, like, of another woman of color too, it was easier to relate with her. So it was perfect.
And was there a couple that you were most surprised to see that was who their perfect match was? Were you
Yeah,
surprised to see any of
a
them?
couple of them. A couple of them. Like, I think Mikey and Jordan was one of the weirdest ones. And from
Uh-huh.
separated from my own personal situation from that, knowing them both, I was kind of like, huh? But, I don't really know because I was so caught up on him. She was caught up on somebody else. So I don't think that they got the chance. Nobody would have known. We kind of were scratching our heads confused. So.
Right. And then going into the show, because you have to answer a lot of questions about yourself, right? In order for them to pair you. So what was that process like? You just kind of talked about yourself, what you're looking for specifically in a
Yeah.
partner.
I think it's kind of like you have to be slightly narcissistic when going through these processes because they want you to talk about yourself. And, when they're like, what's your type? I started being kind of nice. And I remember the matchmaker was like, no, do you want him this height? Do you want him to have this type of smile, wear these type of clothes? Just be as honest and blunt because we're trying to find your quote unquote perfect match. So I definitely feel like it was a long process. I had to take a really long, I answered a lot of questions. We did almost like a 600 type question just to kind of learn about ourselves and our personalities and what we were like. And I think it really delved deep into our personalities. I learned so much about myself. So I can only imagine, the matchmakers seeing all of that and being like, okay, who are we matching her up with? So,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And what's something that would surprise us that maybe we didn't know about the process, just anything about the show that viewers maybe we don't see?
I think it's longer than you think. The process was like 4 months and it's
wow.
Yeah, I started it in April. I
Of
remember
last year?
Yes. So
Oh,
I
wow.
applied in April online. And that it was easy also to find. People always ask her, like, how did you find this? I'm like, well, if you wanted to be like a balloon artist as a job, you would look up balloon artist jobs. So if you want to be a reality TV star, you just look up the audition places. But I applied in April and then I left in July. I didn't even know I was leaving or where I was going, honestly, until about a week or two before I left. So it was a long process and a lot of Zoom meetings and a lot of getting to learn about people learning about me. And it was interesting to see. And you would meet people and they're like, oh my gosh, we love you. We know so much about you. And you're like, who are you? What's your name?
And was this your first time applying for the show?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I got kind of lucky. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
My first show, first application, first of anything. So
wow.
my
Sometimes
favorite.
things are meant to be.
Yes, because I love this show. I used to leave my college class, like running back to my dorm. As silly as it sounds, it's so true. And I would log into my mom's account and she'd be like, why are you logging into my account? And it was to get on her, like, whatever provider that they had so I can have MTV, so I can watch Are You the One very specifically. So kind of crazy.
That's so amazing. Amazing how it all played out for you. And what would you say are some challenges? What was the hardest part about being on the show?
The hardest part, I would say, is trust. You kind of don't know anybody, regardless if we did film this in Spain, so we're out of the country, but even if we film this in the United States, you're around a bunch of people that you don't know. You're putting your trust into your castmates and everybody behind the cameras. And I'm so blessed that we had not just an amazing cast, but people working behind the camera. I felt safe. I felt protected. I felt heard. I felt like I could go to anybody for anything. So I think that that's something that people don't really think about because you're excited and you're like, yes, I'm going to meet all these people. But when you're having breakdowns and you're having hard days, because, you're filming for 5 weeks, well, 4 weeks, but you're filming for a long time. You're on camera 24/7 and you are aware that you're on camera. So you're maybe not speaking as much as you normally would or say things because you're so hyper aware that there's a microphone on you. There's camera A, B, C, D. You kind of feel a little enclosed sometimes. It makes you lose your mind. So I'm happy to have been able to trust the people around me and my cast.
Yeah.
cool.
Trust is important, and support too, especially with reality shows. It can be so hard once you're coming off of the show, and sometimes things happen. People say some not nice things online, but it's good to have that support from other people, your castmates, production.
Yeah, because you what a lot of people don't realize, I mean, you get out of it, and then for one, you have to keep the secret for a really long time, and then you have all these friends that you can't talk about or show or tell anybody about, and then it comes out, and then now you're like, hi, these are all my friends, and then also too, there are people judging your friends, judging you, how you treated them, how they treated you, and what kind of light it was in. And then when you get out of it, you're alone. You're dealing with these things. I don't think I've ever gone on the internet to read about myself ever until now. And it's very interesting. And then, when you call up your girlfriends, like, oh my gosh, they can't really relate to you. You can only relate to your classmates now. So to be able to trust them and have that support is magical, So it's a lot. It's a lot that you take.
And how would you say, well, I feel like you almost answered this next question I want to ask of how you deal with internet trolls, but you said you don't really look at anything. You try not to look at anything.
I've looked, I've seen, and I am very grateful to say I don't have any trolls, at least on my back. I've seen other castmates. And I can speak for myself. I'm all right. Everybody was kind of cool.
I was gonna say everyone seems testy. To be.
They got testy with the telling TK to but you guys weren't there. If you knew, you would have probably said shh too. And
right.
Had a great relationship, and when you have those good boundaries with people, being silly and pushing them is okay, but it'll read differently on camera. So understood.
What is your most fondest moment from being on the show?
The immediate thing was dropping the cake, but I think fondest memory. Oh man. Yeah, you know what? That Alice in Wonderland party it changed a lot of things. Like around those dates and times when we were doing that party, it adjusted a lot, but I had the best time at that party. I had so much fun, and I was dancing all night. And then at the end of it, what you couldn't see, there were such beautiful decorations around you, like dancers and all these desserts that were real. I didn't know they were real. I put my hand into the cake thinking it was, decoration. It was frosting. And at the end, I was about to give the speech and tell everybody whatever I was going to say and drop the cake. And we still talk about that cake till this day because it was so good. And I just dropped it. And I got the okay to take it home. And then I dropped it. So.
I was going to say that too, that production, they do such a good job with those parties and all the events. It just looks so much fun.
Yeah, that party was absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning. It really was.
Yeah. So let's see. If there was anyone else that you could have been paired with, who would you pick? Or that would have been your perfect match?
That is the best question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question. If I had to be paired with anybody else, I was okay with it.
Do you want to plead the fifth?
Wait, no, because I actually want to say one, but I need to make sure I'm saying what I really mean. Akel came to my mind first. Let me dissect it. Akel came to my mind first because Akel was always on my roster the entire time I was there. Nathan was on and off my roster due to his, Nathan is, you never know what you're getting sometimes. I would say one of them. And then while we were filming, Mikey. Afterwards, absolutely not. But I'm gonna go with the Kel because that's a safer bet, because I know Nathan would probably divorce me and Kel would probably stick by me in my antics. So we're just gonna roll with the Kel.
Okay.
Ollie too. Ollie gets to go, and Clay. You know what? All of them. The first time I got interviewed, they were like, "Who is your top 1 or 3?" And I started just naming every single one of them. They're like, no, we're serious. Like, we need your top 3. And I was like, how can you say 11 names in 1 and 3 like seconds? But no, I honestly, they were so amazing. I'm just gonna go with the Kel and slide with it and just roll with that, I think.
And do you have advice for anyone that's looking to join the show?
Yes, my advice for you is to do it. Do not be afraid.
Mhm.
There's definitely things to fear and your feelings are valid, but at the end of the day, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And if somebody is literally like, hey, you want to go spend the summer around all these fine, attractive, beautiful people in a
Mhm.
beautiful country, and we're going to give you money afterwards if you find the love of your life, say yes. Just say yes and don't even think about it and just get on the plane. You'll be fine. I promise.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
And I also saw that you were a former NBA dancer, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah. I
So
danced for
how
the San
long did you
Antonio
do that
Spurs.
for?
I danced for the San Antonio Spurs for 3 years. That
Wow.
was I even in between COVID. I was in the COVID year too. So it was wonderful. The best 3 years ever. I'm so
Aw.
grateful that I got to do that. I danced almost all of my life. So to have a career in dance was
Mm.
definitely something that felt a little full circle. And that I feel like led me to where I got to. So I feel like I keep just climbing up the mountain and I'm just
Yeah.
so grateful. But dancing with the NBA is the most rewarding thing that could have happened to my life because people really appreciate that sport and the fans are super engaged and involved with the team itself. And I've never lived in a place where it was team based. I lived in Temecula, California. That's where I grew up. And we have the San Diego Chargers. They're not even San Diego anymore. So,
I
we
know.
don't have anyone. So to be in San Antonio, in the San Antonio Spurs environment was really beautiful. The culture in San Antonio is something that's absolutely amazing and would encourage anybody to not just go to a game, but experience San Antonio because it's amazing.
Right. And do you have any advice for anyone that's looking to get a placement with an NBA team or a football team? Because I know that's pretty competitive, right?
Yes, it's definitely competitive and a 5%er. They like to say, you're a 5%. Not a lot of
Yeah.
people get to do that. I definitely would say go for it, but choose what team you want to. Don't choose a team just based off of how well that sports team is doing or how well you see the team and how bright and you see them on the internet. Join a team because you see what fits your dance ability, what fits your career style, because every single team is very different. And the job it asks a lot of you and your attention and your time. So I definitely think learning about that and seeing what you love and not being afraid to move to a state for a team because
Mm.
I love Miami Heat. I almost thought about moving to Miami to do Miami Heat after a while. So just follow your dreams. And if that is something that you feel like can really just push you into the next thing in your dance career, go for it 100%.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to audition for multiple teams and sports, NFL, NBA,
Right.
NHL, all of them.
And is there anything you can do to prepare besides maybe taking classes or
Yeah, you definitely
working
want
your
to do it
technique?
there. Yeah, the requirements are really important to see what each team needs. I remember my team specifically needed a kip up. I'd never done that before in my life, and I
Mhm.
had to do it my second year auditioning. Some teams need you to be acrobatic. Some teams are cheerleading teams, and they need you to have so many backflips. Some turn and wear heels on court, so then they need you to do this sort of technical trick or ability that you need. So make sure that those things are what you're focusing on when it comes to picking your team, not the team itself.
Right, right. And so what are your long-term goals now? I know you just completed one being on Are You the One?
Yeah, how did that happen? Crazy. Long-term goals. Right now, just I am extremely blessed in the place that I'm at in my life and where I've grown into now, and I only plan to go higher. I've danced, so I did that. That was a big dream of mine. I got to be on a TV show.
Yeah.
That was a dream that I didn't think was really going to happen. And now I would love to live my dream of content creating. I've been doing it for a while, and
Mm.
I have YouTube and obviously all the other platforms, but YouTube was really big thing for me when I was in college, and I fell in love with makeup and hair and lifestyle
Yeah.
videos and things like that, and the art of editing, not even just what you're showing. And I fell in love with it, but my career didn't allow me to focus on it because when you're dancing and working 2 other jobs and you're a
A
dance
lot.
bartender, you can't really take the time to sit down to spend 9 hours to edit a 5-minute video. So
Yeah.
have the time now, and I feel blessed, and the finances, because we did win, which is awesome. But I think it's a beautiful time in my life to try and focus on a dream of mine and roll out with the punches. And I have the drive and the skill and the ability to do so. So I'm just going to push on that pedal and roll with it and try it out. And I know it's going to succeed, because I don't fail. So we just keep succeeding.
Absolutely. And if you can go on any other reality show for love, which show would you pick?
For love?
For love, like The Perfect Match, The Bachelor.
I would personally like to go on a show it's about maybe me and like two other people, and there's like 60 dudes. Like, that is a dream. If I can have that or just me, that's fine too. And I just have my own show, and it's called Date Danielle. It's DD. It'd be perfect. Because I would love if they were brought to me. I love that aspect, because now I know 11 hot guys from around the world. So, and they were brought to me. So I like that. I like that idea.
Do you think that the girls were good about telling each other like who they were into, or does it kind of just get like messy because everybody's kind of like eyeing each other and it's tough?
The girls' unity was so strong, and it was stronger than the guys. I'm just gonna call it out. The girls, we hardly beefed. I mean, me and Cece went at it a little bit. You saw it a little bit in like a little clip, but me and Cece got mad at each other, but it was over a boy. So stupid. It wasn't shown. And then but we were really good about learning about each other and going, well, maybe Ollie could be, or maybe this person could be your match. So we ended up helping each other. And honestly, I walked myself into my own grave with that one. But, it worked out, and we all loved each other, and we got along very well. And obviously you saw some issues, but there's your older 20-year-olds in a house for a few weeks in the heat. I think that we'll lose it a little bit.
Oh yeah, of course. So we touched base on Humadi. Were you surprised that it was him?
Yes, I was surprised it was Humudi, mainly because him and Mindcha hit it off earlier on. So I kind of just swiped him out of the category because I believed in their relationship. Also, Humudi does like a conservative girl is more his speed, and not that I'm not conservative, I'm just not conservative 100% of the time. And because of that, I again swiped myself out. So I kind of didn't really give myself, that's somebody that I didn't put a lot of energy into. I mean, I knew Moody. We got to know each other. I feel like I didn't have any lack of relationship with any of the men, but I definitely feel like we didn't play anything out. Nothing really happened. So I was shocked when it happened, and it made me laugh because I'll never forget when we were sitting next to each other on week 4, and we sat next to each other, and I didn't know he was going to pick me. And he was like, do you think we could be that beam? And that was the night that we got a bunch of beams. And I was like, he said it, and I was like, wow, I don't even know, because I've been writing you off, but maybe you're, and then it just so happened. So he called it. I'll give him all the credit for that.
So do you feel like you told the producers like one specific type, like you have a type, or do you feel like you don't really have a type?
My answer would be like, I don't have a type, and my sister says I have a type. I have a type for sure. I have a type. Okay. Are you saying, did he fit my type, or did I tell them what my type was? Because I did.
Maybe a little bit of both. Do you feel like he was what you described, and then also like what would be your ideal?
I mean, I asked for a put together man, somebody who folds their socks that match together. Yes. I always tell men that, and they're like, well, I do that. I'm like, you don't understand what I mean by that. Like, I mean, in a very deeper meaning. But I asked for somebody who's really put together. I liked tattoos. I liked, like muscles, and you kind of gave off this aura, like you're scary a little bit, but I don't fear you, but everybody else fears you. I could definitely get that from Humudi for sure. And then I feel like I honestly got what I asked for kind of to a T. Even down to the way he prepares his meals. It's very like intricate. Every little meal is placed. He would make mine to these beautiful breakfasts. And I was like, that is exactly how I would do it. That's how I do it, just to come out and he's my match. But he's definitely my type. I like guys who are kind of, they're on the go because I'm on the go. So I want somebody who's on the go. My last relationship, he wasn't on the go unless I wanted to be on the go. So I really wanted to have, I want to have somebody who can keep up with me and who also is okay and all right with my very out there personality, I guess I would say, and not be intimidated by that and just kind of roll with the punches and be like, yep, that's my girl. So
That's Faye. So another question I have. So after kind of having Humudi, maybe he was fitting what your type was. Did it make you think like, oh, maybe I want something else? Like having exactly what you were asking for, did it make you think like, maybe there is something else that I want?
Yeah, talking to the other guys, you know, when it comes to looks, I put that second. It's always about your brains and who you are as a human being, what your morals are, what you stand for before the looks. Everybody was attractive, so we could just swipe that out. Overall, there were some people who had business mindsets that I had never heard of or been a part of or ever been able to hear that was so attractive, and hear what their life goals were, even how open that they were as a person. Like, you know, Will, for example, he is very open about what he's feeling and his emotions, and I value that. Leo as well, you know, Brendan as well. Brendan is a very open person, and I valued that a lot. And I was like, wow, I would love to have somebody who's so expressive with their emotions. I don't feel like I asked for something so specific, but to find that, and also to have somebody who has different types of goals that I wasn't thinking of myself. You know, you think business, you think have a good job, but Brendan's a freaking DJ for a living. Like, that's so cool. Imagine if my husband was a DJ for a living, you know, and that's business. I think that's so beautiful. And these people that I've gotten to meet, Jordan and Ollie and Clay, who built their brands, I was so attracted to that. It was really beautiful. And I don't think I was really paying attention to that as much. But they gave it to me with Humudi. Humudi has his own barber business. You know, he cuts hair and very successful at it. So
it's impressive.
Yeah,
everyone seems established. Yeah, everyone definitely seems established.
Everybody was very established. When I first met everybody, I was like, wow, okay, like, what am I doing? And they were like, well, you dance for the Spurs. And I was like, yeah, but like, you're doing a lot. Like, I need to think about what I'm doing. And it was inspiring. I think that was the best part about it, was getting to meet everybody, because you learn so much from all of them. And you know, not even just their business aspect, but the culture too. You know, we would always butt heads about different words and what we called different things. we would call popsicles, you know, go get me a popsicle. And they're like, popsicle? What's a popsicle? It's an ice lolly. And we'd be like, ice lolly. And it would be this big thing. So it was super fun to be so diverse in a different way that I haven't experienced before. So good time.
I love that. I love that having that season with everyone around the world brought so much diversity, and how you're all calling a popsicle something different. That's so cool.
You would never, we didn't even go like country to country, but the heads, like, all the Americans are like this, you know, all the Australians. We never was like that, but it was definitely like, wait, you're drinking beer out of a shoe because, or you know, like and the different types of things they would say to us that we were weirder. They always tell me I talk really fast, but I don't think I talk fast. But they're like, yeah, they say I talk like I'm on TV, which is interesting.
Really?
They're watching American TV and I'm American. So I guess that's what coincided, because they would say specifically, like, you sound like you're on TV, or you're like on an MTV show or something. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess, thanks. So it's funny.
That is funny. And where can viewers follow you? Tell us your socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
I got it all, baby. I got all the platforms. We have
Yes.
Instagram at Danny_Bonaparte. That also is my Twitter account. Then we have Danny_Bonaparte1 on TikTok. And then we have YouTube, which is just my name, Danielle Bonaparte. So you can find me all on there, all on the platforms. And
Yes.
my little outfits, I'm always on planes. So if you
And
like
what would you say your niche is for content creation? Are you more focusing on beauty right now? What can we expect from you?
I would expect travel,
Okay.
beauty, but more clothes, more
More
styles,
clothes.
more
Okay. Okay.
fashion, and just advice. I'm ready to advise my peers. We are messed up out here in this dating world, and
Oh.
thankfully, we are messed up. And I was in a relationship for
Oh man.
7 years in my 20s. So to get out of it and to be in y'all's world of dating, it's really
It's
messed up.
rough. It's
we
rough.
we need the us people who've experienced relationships. And I was cheated on twice. We've done the infidelity, we've done the fighting, the abuse, the alcohol abuse. We've done it all. I've walked so you can run. So I'm ready to tell everybody
Yeah.
how to run, so nobody in their 20s has to go through what I had to go through. Because thank God I'm here today, but this was a mission. And even though I got cheated on, it got me on a television show. So you know what? I'm not very happy, but I figured it out and we worked it out. We
Yeah.
made profit off of it. So
It
I'd
all
love
happens
yeah,
for a
it all
reason.
happens for a reason. And to just
Mhm.
go with the flow of life, it's never that serious. We're just all out here and nobody knows what they're doing. And I just want to promote that. I think it's a beautiful thing. I've gotten to experience all these things: NBA career, being on the television show. I had a wonderful bringing up, and people ask why or how did I get here, or what. I don't want to tell them how, because it's not anything special. I'm just taking risks. So my advice is to take risks, just have fun and stop caring what everybody thinks. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to do it. So that's my advice to you. And
That's good advice. I like that. Don't be
thank
afraid to
you.
go for things, because at the end of the day, people will judge you, even if you're just sitting in a corner being quiet. If someone wants to say something about you, they're going to say it no matter what.
Yes. And if they are, just tell yourself you're probably just so famous and everybody's just talking about you. And just hard in this life being so famous with everybody talking about you all the time. That's why I always say, just pretend you're famous. If you think they're talking about you, it's because they're gossiping and you're going to be on the next page of US Weekly. So you're good.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Danielle, for coming on. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
speaking with you. Thank you for sharing your experience, giving us some insights. And
Thank
I
you.
look forward to your advice. I'll listen to it.
I have a lot. I've been writing a lot down. There's some issues it's gonna take us a while to get through it with everybody, but we're gonna get through it. It's gonna be some time. So I'm excited to hit that route. I'm just taking in on my intel right now, because it's a lot. Every moment it's another toxic issue. I'm like, wait, still dealing with 50 over here. I'm gonna just add 51 and just come back to it.
Oh man.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you. And thank you all for being here with me today. Kisses. Thank you for watching Are You the One? I love this show. Thank you for loving the show too. And, just eat your breakfast, you guys. Just eat your breakfast. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
Just eat your
Yes.
breakfast.